Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
I don't need to go into some bullshit.
I mean, you were about to. I don't know why. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. And hi, Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Dave. Hi. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Oh.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched Nobody.
Nobody.
You gotta say it like that.
Nobody.
Heard you had some excitement last night. I wish they'd have picked my place, you know?
Why didn't you take him out?
I was just trying to keep the damage to a minimum.
Yeah, how's that working out for you?
You okay? Because you don't look okay.
There's a long dormant piece of me that so very badly wants out.
What are you still doing here, old man?
I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, I watched this last night, and then I watched it with Hannah, and then she threw on Audition to close out the night.
Sure, yeah, that's what you want to do.
Yeah. I'd never seen that before.
Oh, I thought you had.
Nope. Now I definitely have.
Yeah, you've seen Audition now.
Can't unsee Audition.
No, you sure can't.
Yeah. Nobody is, everybody's talking about Nobody. It's, okay, so I had forgot something about this film, Tom.
Is it that it's directed by the hardcore Henry guy?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I completely forgot about that.
Oh, it is, and you can tell.
Yep, and it's written by John Wick.
Yeah, it's written by Derek Kolstad.
The John Wick. Yeah, everybody's watching this. It's out in, I think, theaters.
It's in theaters.
Out on streaming.
Yeah.
You got to pay money for it, but
it's been in theaters for 2 weeks, I think. So
okay.
It just hit VOD this weekend.
Oh, okay. So we aren't on top of it.
Well,
Not
I mean,
really.
We can't go to theaters. So
Yeah, exactly. It's 90 minutes.
even less than, man. Like
Yeah.
when the end credits roll, I think it's at 85 minutes.
Oh, wow. What did you think about Nobody?
I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
I like that there's the first action scene. I didn't at first. I like that this movie, it tells a story. Imagine that. Like this movie, it seems weird to say, you kind of have to stick with it before you really learn who Bob Odenkirk is.
Right. I mean, it's essentially John Wick.
It's essentially John Wick, but I like that the reveal is that he's a bad guy. Like he is the villain from another action movie, and he just decided to retire because it looked like fun.
Right.
So the first action scene is where he starts a fight with a bunch of guys on a bus.
I enjoyed that.
They're being obnoxious, but they're not hurting anybody. Like
this is
Go ahead.
Oh no, it's Death Wish with more honesty.
Right. This movie is very self-aware. It's more tongue-in-cheek than John Wick. It's like a tongue-in-cheek version of John Wick. Even though like the basic premise of John Wick is essentially a deconstruction of action movies, it still plays out like it's everybody's taking it seriously. It plays out like a straightforward action movie. This movie is more in on the joke, but not in a way that it ever turns to the camera and winks at you.
Yeah. It's not trying to give any moral about the nature of revenge.
No,
except for the idea that this guy is like, it's about a guy going out and looking for trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to weigh in on that idea because, normally when that happens in real life, it's a tragedy. And so I was wondering, there's a point in this movie where I was like, which way are you going to go with this? Are you going to be like, pointing out that Death Wish is fucked up? Or are we just going to have fun? And they sort of do the just have fun, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. I think they do go the just have fun route, but they do make those connections for you. They don't pontificate about the connection, but they do make it clear that this is a problem he has caused entirely himself.
Yes, they're honest about it, where there's a part where the bus scene is done really well because it's these like drunk assholes. They crash their car next to the bus. Mm-hmm. They do it all in slow motion. I believe there's some song going on, and they
I Gotta Be Me.
I Gotta Be Me.
Yeah.
And at this point, Bob Odenkirk, his family was robbed at gunpoint, but an unloaded gun. And I love how they do the reveal
because we don't learn that right away.
We don't learn it right away, and the whole scene, you can tell that he's like could kill these people.
I really
is really practicing restraint.
Yeah, I really liked that because it plays off like on a second viewing. It really comes through, I imagine. Because like I said at the beginning, you really have to watch this movie all the way through to appreciate it, which sounds like a funny thing to say because, of course, you've got to finish the fucking story before you can reflect on it. But I think that gets lost a lot. Anyway, that opening scene where they break in and it's like these two burglars, they're clearly like scared. They're not good at this.
Right.
And you can, like, when you reflect back on that scene, you can see that, oh, he is a guy that could just murder both of these people instantly, and he stops himself for some reason. But in the moment, it does seem like he chickens out.
Yes, but like I guess I knew better because I knew what the film was.
Well, I didn't know the details of it, so I didn't know if it was going to be like he's been repressing this for years, or like if he's a guy that just got shit on his whole life and then snapped, and that's not what it is.
No. Yeah, they definitely do. You're right. If you don't know about it, I think in the trailer or something they made it clear like he's a John Wick type, but yeah, they do make it where it's like it's a house dad. It starts very like late 90s sensibility where it's like, oh, having a job in a house,
like
that sucks.
Like American Beauty, where it's this dude like, woe is me, and he's a fucking millionaire and lives in an incredible neighborhood with a fine family, and it's yeah,
he's married to fuking Annette Bening.
Bening is like, oh, I gotta go to work. It's like, yeah, you live in a mansion.
He's Warren Beatty.
Yeah.
He's doing great. But yeah, it sort of starts that way, and again, it's like it's one of those things where at the end of the day, it's just a fun action movie, and don't look for messages because it's not giving any.
It doesn't really have any, no. It does make the connections, though, and I appreciate that.
Yes, and what we were getting at with the bus, so it feels like he gets victimized, and then the reveal is like, no, the gun was unloaded and he knew it when they robbed the house, and also like he's clearly just trying to show restraint, and then he learns that his daughter is missing her kitty cat bracelet, and it's like it's him like
loses his mind.
Yeah, and he's like, that's fucking it. So he goes out, he tracks down the robbers from a tattoo he saw, and he goes to their house and he's just ready to murder them, and then he just sees like it's a husband and wife and they have a sick baby, and he's just like,
they open this. It's a great scene because I think we've talked about either on this podcast or on Cracked or somewhere, we've talked about how John Wick is a slasher movie.
Yeah.
And with John Wick is Jason Voorhees, and this scene is set up like that. It's one shot. There's a lot of continuous shots in this movie because it's the director of Hardcore Henry.
Yeah.
And then some shots that are clearly, well, not clearly, but are obviously had to have been masked and linked together with CGI,
right.
But it's done really, really well. Like the car accident when he's in the trunk.
Right, and we're about to get to my favorite one, or we will, which is
when the guy dances,
character introduction
the guy fucking
ever.
dances. Oh my god,
so good! What a great introduction of a character.
What a perfect character, yeah. So he's we start in the apartment, and it's this. The first thing we see is that they live in a shithole. They clearly have no money. She's struggling to put together a meal, and then the guy comes out of the back, and it keeps panning back and forth from the couch to the kitchen to the hallway.
Right.
So she calls to her husband. You see her husband walk down the hallway as the camera pans over. Then it pans back to the kitchen, and they're having their meal. And then it pans back to the hallway, and Bob Odenkirk slips out of the shadows, and it's straight up a slasher movie.
Oh yeah,
shot. Like the setup to this, like there's no music. this is where Michael Myers pops out.
Yeah, exactly.
And he pops out on them and asks for the bracelet, and they're like, "We don't know what you're talking about." And he hears a baby crying, so he goes and bursts into the next room, and it's an infant on oxygen.
Yeah.
And he's just like, okay,
yeah,
I gotta get out of here.
And so he leaves. He takes the bus because he doesn't have a car, or his wife has the car.
Yeah.
So he takes the bus, and then this sequence happens where in slow-mo, a car like crashes next to him. A bunch of drunk assholes get out. One of them screams, "Bus!"
Yeah. Real quick, in between that, he punches the Christ out of a brick wall.
Right.
Like it's
yeah.
Like because he was ready. He's been keeping a lid on his murder for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was like ready to come out, and now it couldn't. So that
he has murder blue balls.
Right. It's important to set that up because he starts this fight on the bus.
Yeah.
There's no reason to fight these guys.
They slow-mo show them winding around the bus, and they show like a guy reading a book, a woman like minding her own business, and you can tell like these are potential victims.
That's the way the movie presents it. Like, and we have a little bit of his narration where he's like, "She's gonna get home safe tonight." Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that where
sorry.
he says like God doesn't close a door without opening a window or whatever.
Yeah.
And they pound on the bus, and he's like, "And I just desperately want this window to open.
Please open this door.
Please open it." And that's the idea, is like it's setting up like a Death Wish scenario where it's like, oh, saving the people on the bus. But it's like, yeah, he absolutely just wants it so bad.
They're obnoxious, but they never threaten either person. No. Like one guy slaps the guy's book out of his hand, but they keep walking, and like the woman like clutches her purse to herself, and they're just gonna say, "Hey, what's up?" And then they just keep walking. Like they don't actually threaten either person.
Right, but they are like the trope.
They're the trope.
They're the guys about to start trouble, and so Bob Odenkirk is just smiling in the back seat.
He's so excited.
Yeah,
and he just like quietly leads the bus driver off the bus.
Yeah.
But all I kept thinking of was there's an MMA fighter named Bas Rutten. Have you heard of him?
No.
He's a bald Swedish guy. He's incredible. But he made this. He plays himself in GTA 4. That's the kind of human being he is.
Excellent.
And I think he taught Kevin James how to fight. Anyway.
That's not a big thing to
I'm just saying, like, that's the kind of guy he is.
Right.
He was also undefeated in UFC.
Nobody should weaponize Kevin James.
No, why would you do that to the world?
Yeah.
But he had this video about like how to win street fights, and it's, if you watch any clip of it, he is the villain in every scenario he comes up with. It's just him starting fights with people and then crippling them. And that's what this scene is. Like, so they're obnoxious assholes, and they fit like the description of guys that are about to start shit, but they don't actually start anything.
No, they don't.
Bob Odenkirk just decides he's going to dismantle them.
Yeah, and boy does he.
He really does.
Yeah, he mutilates these men.
He beats one guy so badly that he has to give him a tracheotomy.
Yeah, which is a great detail.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this it turns out that they're connected to the Russian mob, and this cascades into your typical action movie. The character introduction we were talking about it's a wonder, and it's on the street, and this is how we learn about the bad guy. He drives up, does a Yui.
Across a median.
Across a median, parks, gets out, walks across the street. Several cars have to slam on the brakes to not hit him. He doesn't even look at the cars. He walks into a nightclub, through the front door, past the line. It's all a wonder. He walks into the nightclub, goes up to the bar. Bartender has like a shot ready for him. He takes a shot. He looks like a Russian mobster. Mm-hmm. He walks through the crowd, gets on the stage, and starts dancing. Like first thing, and smiling.
Yep.
And then is handed a microphone and starts singing.
And his
it's
dance,
perfect.
His dance is incredible.
He's
wearing
adorable.
These little alligator shoes. Oh my god, this character fucking rules.
Yeah, and so, and I was gonna get to this thesis, by the way, Tom. Is this movie? it has some details like the bus and like, you know, they're painting a very specific picture of a character.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie to me feels like an audition tape for our director, because for some reason Hardcore Henry wasn't enough to get people's attention. Like, this motherfucker should be given all the action films.
I think he
should have been after Hardcore Henry.
Yeah, I think this is him demonstrating that he can make a quote-unquote normal movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about this movie to me is that we haven't even gotten into the hook. What I consider the hook, because on paper, this is just a very standard action movie.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had cast, say, Jason Statham, it would have been lost, I think.
Yes, the hook is that it's Bob Odenkirk.
Yes, is the casting. Not just Bob Odenkirk.
Christopher Lloyd.
Bob Odenkirk, Christopher Lloyd, and RZA.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
And they're a family, and they start putting motherfuckers on ice in the last 20 minutes, and it's... you have not lived until you've seen Christopher Lloyd just shuffling through a warehouse, executing Russian mobsters with an arsenal of shotguns.
And like really enjoying himself.
Just gleefully blasting dudes into pieces.
Someone was tweeting, I think it was Bob Odenkirk, was talking about that it wasn't planned. That was just Christopher Lloyd's like genuine reaction
to shooting
the
guns.
scenes. Yeah. Because Christopher Lloyd's, what is he, like 120?
And I don't think he's ever done a role like this.
No, that's what
where
makes
he
it
gets
great.
to use a lot of guns.
Is that at least him and Bob Odenkirk, they're both comedians.
Yes.
Like they're the primary comedians, and so like it's not like, oh, let's take a old Bruce Willis and put him back on the saddle. No.
Yeah.
It's like Christopher Lloyd back at it, doing a thing he's never fucking done in a movie.
Well, I think that has to have been part of the movie's DNA, like at the conceptual level. Like, this movie has to have been conceived as, okay, we're going to build a standard action movie, but we're going to build it around like the most unexpected person.
Well, I don't know. I think there was definitely a point in either the writing, but because here's the, like, they probably wrote it this way, but I'm sure tons of movies have, like, you know, exterior Harry is unassuming, everyday guy, and then a producer is like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right, unassuming Harry turns into fucking Jason Statham or somebody.
Yeah, so this is like someone saying, what if we really did cast it based on, like, they do the work where they're like, yes, we could get a guy who already knows how to fight, but let's get someone who truly looks right for the part. Because he does look right for the part. He looks like someone who used to shoot people for the CIA. Who is now like a dad.
We definitely got to talk about Bob Odenkirk's performance.
Yeah. And so he just looks the part, and they don't make him, he's not Keanu Reeves, he's not over the top, but they trained him to fight. They certainly were like, Christopher Lloyd, here's how you fire guns.
Yeah.
RZA, here's how. By the way, the ending scene is like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like there's even a riot shield kill.
It's one of the most. It's a pure Schwarzenegger kill. It's so fucking great.
And then RZA shoots through 3 guys with a sniper rifle, scope.
That's the Raiders. That's not Raiders. That's Last Crusade. That's the Last Crusade shot.
You're right, it is. I also think it's the Call of Duty, like, no-scope shot. Like, he's just... it's ridiculous.
Well, I know that the writer, Kolstad, is a big fan of old-school action.
Nice.
And he's written this, he's written the John Wicks, he's written the 2 episodes that felt like John Wick of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Those are the ones he wrote.
Oh, okay. I mean, this I would say the action isn't as over the top as John Wick.
No,
but it's definitely very fun.
Yeah.
Putting bullets in mousetraps.
Yeah.
And making the mousetraps trigger and fire the bullets. They Home Alone the shit.
Yeah, he buys Michael Ironside's sheet metal factory.
Yeah.
and then Home Alones it for the Russian mobsters.
Michael Ironside.
Fucking Michael Ironside. When he punches his brother-in-law in the stomach, I fucking lost my mind.
Yeah. It's a pity punch. It's the punch and then, okay, sit down, sit down.
Yeah,
kind of punch.
If you ever had a friend that this is a real irritating gag that Marina will do to me sometimes.
Oh, I love this already.
If you ever had a friend who thought it was hilarious to stifle a yawn, do you know what I mean? If you start to yawn and they stick their finger in your mouth.
Oh, yeah, I do that to my cat all the time.
Yeah, it fucks you up. And that's that's exactly the energy of this punch. His brother-in-law cocks back to throw a real sloppy punch, so he just ducks and just one straight to the gut. And just puts him down. It's so funny. And then he's like, but what am I going to do? I don't give a shit.
Yeah. And then Michael Ironside, the dad, is just like, you have a deal.
Yeah, you got a deal.
Because he gave him a bunch of gold that's way too much gold.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things, we've talked about this before, is that if I ever found a bag of gold, I'd probably look for a cash reward more than I would want the gold, because it's what do I do with this gold?
It's I've seen a simple plan.
Right.
If I find a big cache of money, I'm gonna be I need to call the police.
Yeah.
I might take a little of it, maybe.
No
but
Country for Old Men.
Yeah, I'm not taking the whole thing. No.
Oh, I would take a couple stacks, because when the bad guys find the cash, they'd still probably be that's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, he took 20,000? Yeah, that's fair, I guess. He didn't take the whole million.
I'm not taking a trunk full of cash and cocaine. It's nah, I don't want to bring that.
Yeah.
In my house. It's like bringing
What am I even going to do with it?
Right, it's like bringing a sarcophagus into your house. Don't fuck with that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Or I don't know, check for trackers.
Yeah.
Be smart about it, at least. Don't bring him back water. Why did you bring him back water?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I was about to say Josh Brolin tried to be smart about it. Look what happened to him.
Yeah.
They tried to be smart about it in a simple plan. Look what happened to them.
Yeah. Yeah. But gold especially, because in this case he's giving it to him. Well, and it's not it's not sketchy. Well, it's sketchy, but it's here's gold for your. I'd still be I'm gonna need cash or a check. I'm not bringing this Nazi gold to the bank. I don't know where'd you get this gold. I don't know what to do with this gold.
All the gold was stamped, so it's identified.
Yeah, that's fair. So what do? You just bring it to the bank? But what if they're
there's people that buy it. Lots of places buy it. I think you can exchange it for value. I'm not positive.
I would still at least look into. I would Google it first, because you don't want to immediately take the gold, even if it's stamped, because then you bring it to the bank and they're oh yeah, we've been looking for this. You're under arrest.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
You don't know where that gold came from.
Yeah.
The dude just gut punched your son.
Right.
Don't take his gold right away. Take a check.
Yeah, your son-in-law comes in. He's clearly been in several fights. Dumps a stack of gold on the desk and says, "I'm buying your business." And then your son tries to punch him, and he just fucking dismantles him.
Yeah, it's look, I have a few questions.
Yeah, it's with gold, you run the risk of it's like finding a sarcophagus filled with cocaine and money. It's you run the risk of the mob and ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. Or the ghost mob.
Right. It's gold is clearly illegal and also probably cursed. So
right.
Anyway. Gotten a little bit in the weeds here.
That's all right.
Yeah, I really like Odenkirk's performance throughout.
Yeah.
Because he's just, it's one of those performances. It's sort of it has this, I'm not saying it's similar in the actual performance, just in the effect of the performance. It reminded me of Hayden Christensen in Shattered Glass.
I haven't seen that.
Okay. Well, it's about, I forget the guy's, Ira Glass. No, not Ira Glass. That's the
Hayden Christensen.
Stephen Glass. It was a guy that famously made up like all of his articles for I forget some major magazine, some major DC magazine. And he just got, it was a huge scandal. He just completely made up all of his stories. But he, in the movie, Hayden Christensen plays this character the same way throughout. Right. But it's just as more and more of his lies start to unravel, you start to view him in a different way, even though his performance has stayed the same.
Right.
And it's like that in this movie, where at the start, like, he just seems like an exhausted dude who is like meek and doesn't really stick up for himself. And then once, like, midway through the movie, he reveals like kind of his backstory, which is that he was on some assignment in Italy. He was gonna murder a guy, and then the guy
begged for his life.
And it was like the first time, he said it was the first time I ever listened to somebody, and the guy was like, I just want to run away. I'll want to just live a normal life. It's like, all right, fine, I'll let you go. And he lets him go and comes back a year later, and the guy, sure as shit, is living a normal life with like a family and stuff. And he's like, that motherfucker.
Yeah, I want
that. So that's like, he is just the bad guy from another movie who's like, I want to try living a normal life for a while. So it's like, it recolors his performance for the first half of the movie, where it's like, oh no, it's not that he's a guy
it's not that he's bored with like his everyday life. It's that he's bored with his not murdering life.
Right. He's bored with not being able to react to things the way that he wants to react to them.
Yeah, and how it ends. Because also, we haven't talked about his wife, which I'm glad movies are doing this more and more now, where they're not like, oh, he's keeping it from the wife. It's like, no, she knows who she married. She would have to know. Yeah, she knows who she married. She's Laura Linney over there.
Yeah, she really is.
She's Mystic Rivering it up.
Very Lady Macbeth. Like, yeah. It's Connie Nielsen, by the way. Connie Nielsen.
Right. And so, like, the end is them getting a new house and him getting, like, a phone call for, like, clearly a job or something. And she just asks, like, how's the basement of this house?
Yeah.
Because they're just going to need a panic room murder basement
murder
or something.
chamber.
By the way, the scene where he's explaining, he propped up the SWAT team that are still dying.
I liked that bit.
It's so good because they're suffering, and he props them up, and then he finds the kitty cat bracelet, and he's like, "Oh shit, there
it was here the whole time." Yeah, it just got lost. It is. So 100%. It's just a problem he created. Sorry,
telling him this story, and then after he turns around to like look for their reaction, and then they're all just dead.
Yeah, it happens twice. And to
the Russian as well.
Basically, both times, because again, he's the villain from another movie.
So he's monologuing.
He's monologuing, and both times he tries to monologue, his audience dies halfway through his monologue.
Yeah, and then he lights them all on fire and
burns them alive. Yep, steals that guy's Challenger.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
It's so good. There's it's very well directed. Like, I really like this director. I think like this one.
I expect big things.
Yeah, this
from
one
him.
Definitely proves that he can do more than just a gimmick movie.
Yeah, and like, it's one of the few directors where I'm like, yeah, give him a superhero film, but also I kind of don't want that, because then like, give him an R-rated superhero film. Because this motherfucker. I mean, I really liked Hardcore Henry as well, because he understands something about this genre, which is just it's the John Wick thing, where it's like, look, if you're gonna make a mindless action film, the details don't matter. It can be a fucking bracelet. It can be a dog. Make it whatever. Try not to make it a cliche. We're sick of wives dying.
Yeah.
Don't make it a cliche. It doesn't matter. The point is to make crazy shit happen.
Yeah.
That's it. And we're in a new era of action.
Yeah, it's you make sure the action is good, and you make sure the main character is somebody that audiences will enjoy watching. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, and like, as much as I like this movie, I do think it's a step back from Hardcore Henry, because I think he had the right idea with that, where he also was like, cameras are small. Let's put him on a stuntman. Let's go out of our fucking minds.
There's a couple of shots that do that in this movie, but yeah.
There are, but he's definitely, and for the reason you said, it's him proving, look, I can make
an
regular
actual
action movie.
Too. Yeah. Quote unquote regular, yeah.
And it has value. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a good move to make this movie. I'm just saying, in terms of evolution of action, I think I said this when we reviewed Hardcore Henry. Hardcore Henry felt like the Wachowskis should be taking notes, like for the next Matrix. Like, right, this is where action needs to go.
It's a fucking wild ass action movie wrapped up in a really cool sci-fi premise.
Yeah, and just the way they did the action, it was like this mix of practical effects and compositing, and like merging together these stunts and just doing it all legit.
Yeah, and then using the CGI to augment it.
Yeah, I would argue that the Crank guys are the same way, where there's no reason why we can't just be on rollerblades with a camera. It's like, yeah, we're digital now, baby. Mm-hmm. Like, we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, we're not shooting this in IMAX, man. We can use tiny cameras.
Yeah. Like, we don't need IMAX.
You mentioned you want to see this guy do an R-rated superhero movie. That's probably not impossible because, this is written by Derek Kolstad and produced by David Leitch. Those guys are connected to Deadpool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he could do
a Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3, that would be amazing. Because I will say, I enjoyed the Deadpools, but they could do better action-wise. They could do way better. Those could be stunt films, and they aren't. They kind of aren't, right? They're more CGI.
The second one more so. The second one had more stuff in it, but yeah.
But, like, Jesus Christ, you have a character that you could easily, put that bullshit costume on a stuntman and have a blast with it.
Right, yeah, because he doesn't, because Deadpool doesn't have really superpowers, Like, he's not, he's not punching people through skyscrapers. He's just a guy that can't be killed. So,
and you can have some fun fucking stunts.
Yeah.
Where you just hurling them through buildings and shit.
Yeah.
Doing some fucked up stuff. I don't know. Yeah, that series, I mean, they're fun enough, but yeah, they could go in wilder.
Yeah, they go harder towards action, like modern action. Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And they do a little bit of it in I forget which movie it is, but I know there's one sequence where there's kind of like a John Wick bit and he like breaks his own hand or something to shoot the other person.
Right.
They do some stuff with that with
yeah,
it.
They do. This, I mean, I love John Wick, but I do like this version where it's like he's not really like an expert fighter. He's a brawler. Like he gets
hit a lot in this. Yeah, he's more like he's sloppier than John Wick is.
Yeah.
I
love watching.
Yeah.
Fucking horses, but
it works. It works for Bob Odenkirk's character in this movie, and like the demeanor, like. He has this constant air of just ugh. So like when every time he gets hit or stabbed or shot, it's just so he plays it so perfectly where he's just like he just gets more irritated.
Right. And like most comedians, he picks up the dramatic side easily.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, just do the thing where you're not telling jokes.
It's pretty similar muscle.
Yeah. It really seems that way because so many comedians are like, oh, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
That's easy.
It's so funny to like watch him in this and then think of him in like season 1 of Fargo.
Right.
Where he's just a Magoo.
Oh, yeah, it's great. God, I got to rewatch Fargo. I got to watch it for my boy Patrick Wilson.
Season 2 is okay, but that first season is real fucking good.
Oh, yeah, I like them all because Patrick Wilson.
I need to see 3. I haven't seen 3 and 4. I need to watch them.
Which one? Oh, 3 is the one with Ewan, right?
3 is the one with Ewan. 4 is the one with Chris Rock.
I haven't watched 4 yet. I need to. 3 is. I liked it. I get why some people.
It was
didn't.
real polarizing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like them all. Fucking Kirsten Dunst is, I think, the MVP of that series.
I mean, yeah, their story was the her and her now husband. What's his name? Fuck.
Wait, Jay Plemons?
Plemons, yeah.
Yeah. But, I just mean, in terms of the whole series, it's not necessarily the best plot, but I think she is the best performer in the whole series in terms of a Fargo character.
Right, it's a perfect storyline. She's a lady that hits a guy with her car and tries to cover it up, and just the escalating series of fucking ruin that brings to her and her husband.
And she like doesn't. She like seems to fundamentally not understand.
Yeah, no, she's a sociopath.
She's a sociopath.
Yeah, it's yeah. It's great.
Perfect.
It's so good. You guys should watch Fargo season 2. Anyway,
everybody watch Fargo.
we're getting in the weeds.
Yeah. Good action scenes.
Yeah,
I like Christopher Lloyd's blowing those guys away at his little retirement home.
It was good. I'm just gonna bring it up because we've already gotten like a field twice now. This is a tougher episode because we're both in agreement about like, this is just a really good movie. It's fun to watch.
It's a lot of fun.
Like, what are we talking about?
There's a good sequence. The part where she uses the wire to cut off his leg. Oh wait, sorry, that was the other one.
That was Audition.
That's sorry. They blurred together.
That's Audition, Dave.
Yeah. Man, that's a scene, right?
Yeah, it is a sequence.
Everybody check out Audition.
Yeah, man.
This is a good double feature. I think we watched them in the wrong order, to be honest.
Probably.
Because it was like, watch Nobody and then let's cool down with Audition.
Nobody's the palate cleanser in that pairing.
No, not at all. Let's see. RZA. We talked about RZA. Yeah, the villain dies because he puts a claymore on a piece of what seems like bulletproof glass, runs at him as fast as he can, and pulls the claymore.
Just right in his face. It's glorious.
Right in his face. Yeah, the idea, again, he's sort of the bad guy, but they're both bad guys because he comes to Bob Odenkirk's house with a SWAT team. He just like Wolverines them. Like he murders them all.
It really is X2.
Yeah, it's a super X2 moment. And so he's like, all right, my turn. And the whole bit is that the Russian has this like, it's like they call it the 401k for the Russian mob.
Like the Obshka or something, yeah.
Yeah, he has this big thing of money that it's like they're obligated to pass it around and everybody has to protect it and it's his turn. So Bob Odenkirk just burns it all.
He does.
And they really yada yada the scene.
I know, but that's kind of what makes it funnier.
Yes.
It's they do it in a montage, so it's just him blowing dudes away. There's some cool shots in there, but like the funniest part of it to me was that he casually steals a Van Gogh painting.
Yes. And then he just has it.
And then he's just carrying it for the rest of the movie. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm taking this.
Yep.
I'm keeping this Van Gogh.
Yeah. And this movie is, I would say, it's not an action movie first. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's almost.
There's really only like 3 action sequences.
Yeah, and it yada yadas some of them where it's like it's not important.
Yada yada's a 4th one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the action is well done when it happens, but it's kind of just telling a story. And again, the story is not particularly original. Like John Wick is this. It's still that tongue in cheek.
It has more of the element of like we get. It is almost identical to John Wick. It's just the tone is what the main difference is because you could say the same thing about John Wick, real quick, that he's the bad guy from another movie. Because of course he is. He's a notorious villain that everybody's terrified of.
He's the Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the tone is different in this movie, where it's more like it's like, oh, what if like the bad guy from I don't know, The Last Boy Scout decided to retire and start a family? It's like that.
You mean Milo?
Yeah,
you
Milo.
Mean yeah. There does seem to be a problem, officer.
There's
There's
too many
bullets in this gun. Sweaty line, Milo.
Real sweaty gag, Milo. Who was that for?
Yeah.
You high-fiving yourself? Because none of the guys in the front seat turned around.
Yeah.
When you said that. Nobody was like, damn, when you said that.
Yeah, I'd say John Wick is still tongue-in-cheek, but they're like, the bit where whenever anybody learns who it is, and they're like, oh. Like, they know they're funny. John Wick knows it's funny, right?
Yeah,
like
yes,
it's purposefully.
It's not played tongue-in-cheek necessarily. I don't think. Well, it is a little bit. No, but it is a little bit.
It's kind of the beauty of John Wick is that I think they genuinely know.
They
and
do.
They know that the weird assassin world is dumb and funny. Like they know that. But they take it as seriously as they can.
Right, they do.
There's a couple little gags, but they know that it's people going, "Oh shit," like
yeah. It's like most of the MCU, not the dumb Hawkeye line, but like it's
Right.
something like that where it's like, yeah, like we know they know, but they're also at the same time they're like, look, we're having fun here. We're not going to call you an asshole for enjoying this. We're going to take it seriously, but also we know it's dumb. Like,
yeah, and I think they play it up. I think John Wick is like, what more bullshit can we put in this? And they're like, I don't know, give them horses, give them dogs.
Yeah.
You know, let's have a lot of fun with this.
Let's have them fucking get chased into a knife museum.
Yeah, the knife museum, they know what they're doing.
Oh yeah,
they know. Yeah, they're like a knife
but
museum.
like they don't.
Does that even exist?
Right. It's
who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's tongue in cheek and it's in on the gag, but it respects the audience. Like John Wick never turns to the camera and is like, "Can you believe it?" or like, "It's a living." Like they don't have those moments.
Yeah. It does have jokes, like when the sanctuaries areas where the two people are like fighting to the death and then they have to stop and have a drink, you know, or like when they're quietly shooting each other in public. Like
the quiet gunfight. It was cool though. It was a cool idea.
Oh yeah, but it's dumb.
It's dumb, but
it's a world that people aren't normal in.
Right.
Because
it's a heightened reality. So is this. It's just there's a fine line to be self-aware in that way, and I think both Nobody and the John Wick movies pull it off.
Yeah, they do, because they're not the people in the universe are taking it seriously. It's just there's dumb. Christopher Lloyd murders two guys while watching TV in a retirement home. The orderly guy comes in and he's like, "Turn down your TV." Yeah. He just and it's like,
killed two guys with a sawed-off shotgun. It's like nobody would mistake that for a television set. But like, like I said, like nobody goes further.
But that's the joke,
right? Nobody goes further towards comedy than John Wick does. But I think the key that all of these filmmakers have making these movies, and the reason that it works is it's self-aware and it's in on the joke, but they respect the movie that they're making and they respect the audience that it's for enough, so that it's not like they never do the stupid "it's a living" joke.
I just hope with this director, I hope he embraces the weird more in the direction of Hardcore Henry.
More outside the box stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see more clones. I want to see more dudes with flamethrowers. You know, I want to see that shit. That movie is exceptional in how fucking out of control it is. And so, like, I hope it's hard. This is the thing. This is the thing that happens. Look at Crank versus Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. And I think this is a good execution, even though I just brought up Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, is that you take these directors and writers who are very uniquely out of their minds, and you start giving them mainstream films, and the question is, are you going to embrace why you hired them in the first place, or are you going to snuff them out?
Or are you going to do Solo, a Star Wars story?
Exactly. So, like, I think like Ghost Rider is a good version of that, because there's nothing more thrilling than watching a Nicolas Cage action movie, like Marvel fucking a big budget movie, and it has like edit gags like Crank. You know, it has the weirdness of Crank, and you're like, I can't believe they let them do this, you know. And so, like, I hope they take this guy and they're like and they embrace his hardcore Henry-ness, and they let him do fucking wild bullshit in these movies, instead of him having to kind of like fit in the box.
Yeah, no, same. I hope that for every artist.
I do too, but it like he's at risk, I think.
Right.
Like you get like, you know, you get your James Gunns, the people who like kind of earned it, or like was able to build a reputation, you know?
So you couldn't, like, he was sort of defended against it, is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, like
there's some people...
They couldn't have hired James Gunn to do Guardians and then not let him be James Gunn because he had enough of a reputation that people would call bullshit on it.
Exactly. Like, you know, the more obvious example is you don't hire Quentin Tarantino to write a movie and then get mad that it's like Quentin Tarantino. That's what you have.
Yeah.
So like if Quentin Tarantino did, say, I don't know, a Star Trek film, which doesn't seem like a good idea, but it better be a Quentin Tarantino Star Trek, because if it's just a boring Star Trek.
This? Yeah.
Exactly. But I think these lower level directors like this guy and the Crank guy, and I don't know, Adam Wingard and so on and so forth, they run a risk of studios being like, no, do it our way. And I'm hoping that they don't crush his little spirit.
He's got good people behind him. Or like he's got, because, like David Leitch, and then who's the other guy? I forget.
He's a nice guy. I talked to him on Facebook.
Oh, word.
When I first did at Cracked Movies That Deserve More Hype, I was apparently not enough people were covering Hardcore Henry because I
remember that.
I did it, and he messaged me on Facebook and was like, thanked me and was like, yeah, it was like a big deal to him at the time, or at least it seemed that way. He was nice.
Yeah.
Very Russian.
Chad
Russian
Stahelski,
guy.
that's the other guy.
Yeah.
The two John Wick dudes. The two Matrix stunt people that fucking taught Keanu Reeves how to fight.
Yeah. And I do think it's, yeah. So like if you just threw them into the like Star Wars or Marvel machine, it wouldn't work out because they're just too big. The machines are too big.
Unless you gave it something like Deadpool. Or if you gave him one of like the weird projects, like the projects.
Yeah, one of the ones where they're like, we don't care about this.
Do something, make this a thing. Do something weird with this. All right.
At the same time, I would love to see what he could do with like Captain America, like weird shield stunts and
fucking shield kata. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Beating the Christ out of people with his shield.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. My final recommendation is this is $20. If you need a pick me up, if you need a dumb action film, if you say got your shots and want to see something in theaters, this is a good celebration of that.
I would have seen this in a theater. So I would have spent about $20 on a ticket anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say this is worth it.
Yeah, especially if you're watching with like more than one person.
Yeah, story-wise, it's not anything special, but I had a pleasant evening.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's not. It does not overstay its welcome. Like I said, about 85 minutes.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie.
Yeah,
I hope they make 5 of these.
Me too. Same with Audition.
Mm-hmm.
You need more auditions.
Oh yeah, man, just keep making them.
I enjoyed that movie. That was a fun movie. Audition.
Yeah, it's Takashi Miike. Is that who it is?
Yeah. Takashi Miike.
He doesn't make bad movies.
It is it was bad. It was a good movie.
He makes a lot of movies you don't forget about.
No. No. That's the thing. All right. So watching this movie and then Audition, one of them is kind of the dominant like thing that's taken up my mind space. You know,
it's Nobody, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
it's the 85-minute lark Nobody.
Yeah, exactly. As you can tell, there certainly isn't another movie shoving its way into my brain in every second.
There isn't another movie howling outside the window of your mind right now.
Yeah. There certainly wasn't moments last night where I was like, well, I'm not going to forget this image. Going to take this image to my grave.
Yeah. I'm going to be buried with this shit.
Yeah.
That's shit. I think we talked enough.
Folks, let me tell you about our Patreon. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. If you go on there, you get exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. Woo! I did that real quick.
Also Star Trek The Next Futurama.
New episode.
Push that new stuff.
New episode is out the day after you're listening to this.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yep. Only on our Patreon. Check it out. You fucking love it.
Mm-hmm. We also have a store, tpublic.com/stores/gamefullyunemployed. You can get t-shirts, masks, mugs, stickers, posters, all kinds of stuff. So check that out.
Yeah. So many things to check out. Mm-hmm. Such a big world out there.
Yeah, we're considering starting to offer crime basements for all of your crime basement needs.
Uh-huh. And lengths of piano wire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can get a lot done. You can get a lot done with a piano wire. You can.
It's true.
You can go fishing for the shark from Jaws. You can saw a guy's leg off.
Yeah.
That's really those two things. But
really those two
that
things.
covers a lot of ground. So that's like an entire weekend right there. Those two things. Whole weekend of activities for you.